Okay, what about strength exercises? So again, I put these into beginner, moderate, advanced. The key to making the most of your strength exercises during the workout is really just to try to hit the major body parts with the moves, right? So you can do a combo of the different ones we've got, or you may find ones that are going to hit multiple muscles so you can be more efficient, right? Now, just like our cardio options, these are not the only ones out there, not by a long shot. There are a million ways to modify and change the exercises. So again, do some research, find what you like and what works best for you. And for strength moves specifically, we really want to be sure that we're doing the proper technique. So I obviously can't explain each move fully in our time today, but there's some great resources online to help. I'm going to be including some links in the blog post with this recording that you'll be able to access that can help as well. So for beginner options, for lower body, squats and lunges. Simple. These two exercises in themselves too have a bunch of modifications and variations. So things like pulse squats and lunges, for example, where you go down into that squat or lunge and you just stay there with just kind of tiny pulses up and down that work those muscles a little bit more. That's going to get your heart rate up too, by the way. Wall sits are another lower body option. Yes, if you're technical, you do need a wall. So I don't know if you consider that equipment or not, but I hope you have access to a wall or find a tree or something if you're outside. Let's see what else. Glute bridges. This is when you're lying down on your back. You bend your knees, put your feet flat on the floor, and then you just lift those glutes up, which is your butt muscles, right? You lift those glutes up off the floor so you have a straight line from your knees up to your shoulders. You're going to feel it in the glutes. You're going to feel it in the hamstrings, which is the back of those thighs. Now, for this specifically, you can hold this pose for what we call an isometric movement or isometric exercise, where you're just squeezing the muscle without moving it through a range of motion, or you can lower yourself back down and then back up for a certain number of times. So again, variations with that depending on how you're feeling, depending on how much time you have, depending on your strength level. You'll get a feel quickly on how long and how much you can do these exercises. And then the goal would be to progress from there, right? Some upper body options for beginners, modified push-ups or planks. So just go down to your knees and either hold your body up, which is just a plank. That's another kind of isometric exercise. Or if you're able, you can lower down into a push-up. One thing too, for planks specifically, some people have issues with their wrists. I know I have issues if I do too many planks and such. So you can do a plank on your elbows as well. The first picture that I had up, our first slide, he was doing a plank on his elbows. So that's a good example. You're still going to get the core, still going to get the shoulder workouts with that, but it's another modification. Let's see, reverse fly. So I wanted to get those upper back muscles. So for this one, it's really simple. You just put one foot in front of you, almost like you're going to do a lunge, right? But you keep your knees only slightly bent, and then you're going to bend over at your waist so your upper body is close to parallel with the ground. And then you're just going to take your elbows and you're just going to squeeze them up towards the sky with your arms bent, but elbows squeeze up towards the sky so you feel your shoulder blades squeezing together. Really, really focus on squeezing those muscles. You're going to activate them more. I'm going to talk more about this in a second. But for these reverse flies, you can keep your elbows close to your body. You can keep them out to the side. You're going to use slightly different muscles with each option. So again, we're getting the upper body there with some of these options. And then we have bicep curls and tricep extensions as well. Side note here, a lot of times you'll see people use weights with these exercises, right? You're holding weights, you're doing your bicep curls, which is where you just hold the weight and bring it up towards your shoulders from down by your sides. And that's fine, right? But I wanted to point this out specifically because we're in a body weight exercise webinar here. You can still do those movements and get muscle activation without weights. So you can squeeze your muscles without any other type of resistance. You just really have to focus on it when you're doing the movement. So like with the bicep curls, right? We're working on the front of our upper arm. So try it with me here. If you have your hands down by your sides with your palms facing forward, pretend that you're holding a weight in each of your hands. Lift your hands up and squeeze those bicep muscles, those upper arms. Squeeze them as hard as you can as you move your hands towards your shoulders. You're activating those muscles just like you would if you had a weight in there. The weight forces you to activate it, right? But mentally, we can control how we activate our muscles if we just do it as well. If we just focus on it. Now, again, eventually, yes, to progress, you may want some weights as you get stronger if you want to see more of those strength increases. But again, especially for beginners, you can still work those muscles without weights, right? And then if you do progress to wanting weights before you buy any, you can grab soup cans, you can grab water bottles for extra weight without needing to buy it. So just a side note there. So again, tricep extensions, those are the back of the upper arm. So if we're reaching our arms up, straight up above our head, and then we keep our elbows in the same spot, but you lower your hands behind your head and then lift them back up, squeezing the back of those arms as you raise your hands back up, right? Seems simple, but if you focus on squeezing those muscles, you're going to activate them and you're going to work them. For your core, that midsection, including your abs, some options include crunches of any kind. I mean, I don't know how many different variations of crunches you can do, and you can make them harder or easier based on the position of your arms and legs. So you might want to do some trial and error, find some versions you like on there. Push-ups also work the core as well. So like I mentioned, squeezing your muscles with some of the other exercises. Keep your core muscles tight during your exercises as well. So pull that belly button in towards your spine, squeezing as much as you can. That's a great way to get the most out of the movement and to activate those muscles as much as you can. Supermans are an option to make sure you get your back muscles of the core as well. So that's part of your core is your lower back muscles too. So Supermans are when you lay on your stomach and then you lift your legs, shoulders, and arms up off the ground. So you feel those back muscles working. You're going to probably feel the glutes and the hamstrings a little bit in that too. But again, so this is an option where you can hold the position for a certain amount of seconds, or you can do repetitions where you go down, back up. It's the options are pretty much limitless with these exercises. So moderate and advanced options really just play off of the beginner variations, right? So lower body, we can make that glute bridge, a one-legged bridge. You can go deeper into your squats or hold the lower point longer. For push-ups and planks, go on your toes instead of your knees. Do more push-ups or hold your plank longer. And again, just like I said with the cardio, some of these exercises that feel beginner for some people are going to feel advanced for other people. So it's okay if it feels harder for you. Do what you can. Maybe you work up to that exercise. So just a side note there. You can go so far as a one-legged squat for your advanced. And again, just going deeper into the squats and lunges or doing a side plank as shown in this picture that this gentleman is doing. You can do decline push-ups or incline push or declines where you have put your feet or on a couch or a chair to put that higher, puts more pressure on those shoulders and core muscles. So lots of different things. And I want to make a point here. I'm not trying to act lazy by not giving you a bunch of options, right? But I cannot possibly show you all the variations and crazy things that people have come up with to make these exercises harder or different. So like I mentioned, I'm going to add some links to different workout options, but it's actually really fun to find your own too. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with working out. So many people that are already out there have done the hard stuff, right? By creating videos, great workouts on YouTube. So use what's already out there. We want to work smarter, not harder. Okay? And then so with the strength exercises, typically what the recommendation is 1 to 3 sets. So that means you do, 10 to 15 maybe exercises and then do that 1 to 3 times through. So it's going to depend. Bodyweights are a little bit tougher to figure out how many exercises you're going to do for each exercise, right? Because it really depends on the muscle, really depends on your level. So you're going to have to try to figure out what makes sense which exercise you're going to do more, because some might seem really easy to do 10, some might be really hard to do 10. So you're just going to have to keep track and kind of track how you progress with the different things.